Usually when we talk about technology in education, we talk about tools and methods of incorporating that technology into our lessons. But how does technology impact teacher and parent relations? I decided to speak to an 8th grade math teacher at Tri-Valley Central School District, not about how he incorporates technology into his lessons, but how it affects the way he communicates with parents. So how do you update parents about their child's progress in your class?
Well, every test, quiz, assessment, homework assignment, project, as soon as it's graded, will be put onto School Tool, which is a portal that the parents can sign into at home, and they can get an up-to-date, real-time average of their child's progress in the class.
And how Mr. Ream explained that all teachers must update School Tool each Monday morning between 7:45 and 8:05 a.m. at Tri-Valley Central School District. This means that most teachers can be found at their computers 20 minutes before school starts each Monday morning. Do parents check School Tool often? Are they always on there? Do they not check it often? What do you think?
I would guess 30 to 40% of our parents keep up to date with their children's progress. It hasn't been a problem. I get very few emails, phone calls concerning that. I think the parents are happy with what it is, and I think that the phone call would just be redundant. Yeah.
So how do you get in touch with parents when you need to contact them?
My go-to is email.
And just because it's easier?
Yeah, email, because I'm not calling them at work, panicking, putting them into a panic that the school's calling. It's also they can reply at their convenience.
And how do parents usually get in touch with you if they have a concern?
I would say today it's close to 90% by email.
Wow. And do you think you have fewer parent conferences face-to-face because it's so easy to just email back and forth as opposed to planning on a time that's convenient for everyone to meet same place?
Well, by the time they hit 8th grade, we have less parent conferences compared to 7th and 6th and lower grades anyways. But I think there's less need for face-to-face parent conferences now. We can keep them up to date, and I think a lot of the parents are happy with the way we are keeping them up to date with grades.
Okay. After hearing from a teacher, I decided to get the parents' perspective on how technology impacts the way they communicate with teachers.
We have a program called Parent Portal where the grades are posted and each parent is given, their username and password, and they can go in and look at their child's grades.
Yeah. How often do you check it?
I don't really look that often. My child does pretty well in school, and I kind of like him to be independent. Of course, if he needs help or as a question comes up, I would contact the teacher, but I don't really use that program so often.
Yeah, and you still get IPR grades and progress report grades each in the middle of the marking period at the end of the marking period, right?
Yes.
So do you kind of know what to expect because you can access the grades online?
Yes, definitely. And I think those, like you said, those interim, 5-week and then the end of the marking period, I have a pretty good sense of how he's doing, and I kind of use that more.
And then as far as keeping in touch with the teachers, would you prefer calling the teachers or do you email them now that that's an option?
Definitely email. Seems to be their preference and mine, and I find they get back to me right away.
Yeah. So do you feel the need for parent conferences as often since you can keep in touch via email so easily?
Personally, no, I don't. As long as I have, the grades, they get the conferences, they'll print out. I like to see that at that time, and then we can talk about maybe some things that have come up in the different projects or where they're going, what they see for the class or for my child. So I guess, but I don't have a lot of that conversation, so I don't really personally, no.
Yeah.
See the need.
So you would prefer email then? It seems to be working for you.
It could meet my needs through an email, definitely. Then they do 2 parent conferences in the middle school age. I go to the beginning one, meet the teacher, and but I don't.
More the open house type one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Julie has found some valuable information within the middle school of True Valley Central School District. We now transition into a school district with a larger population located on Long Island, New York, the Three Village Central School District. Transitioning from a middle school input to a high school input will give us some new insight. So we start by questioning Mr. Donald Ambrose, the math chairperson at Three Village School District, wondering if he feels that technology has made a valuable change over his 13-year career there.
I definitely feel like there's been a noticeable change from the time before, especially like the Infinite Campus was implemented. I think there was a lot more parents have to make phone calls home. Teachers have to make phone calls home to parents, and it seemed like there wasn't as good of a communication between teacher and parents. But now, because parents can go online and see how their student is doing at any moment in time, it seems like parents are more informed. While teachers may perhaps still make phone calls home to contact parents, it's not as much, and it seems like parents seem to be more informed and content with how the students are doing.
Okay, so now that they're more informed, do you think the conversation is more meaningful when it's had?
Absolutely. Because the parent can see, my son or daughter, what they're either haven't done well on or what assignments they may be missing, so they don't have to find out first about that. They know what's going on, and then they can get to the root of why their child isn't doing well. And it's also more real time. So now the parent, it's not like they all of a sudden get their report card and they realize at that moment that their child has failed. They can find out right away once the teacher inputs the score into the Infinite Campus. They know right away how their child's doing at any point in the semester.
Now the conversation is more valuable. We move from the AP kids into kids that really need more attention, parents who need more involvement. So to a special ed perspective, can we help those kids more?
As a special ed teacher, you have to remain in contact with the parents constantly, because a lot of the kids don't go home and they tell their parents what's going on in the class. So one of the things that I do is I send out a weekly newsletter, especially to the lower functioning students, and basically that outlines what we have done the entire week, any upcoming tests, really all the information that the parents would need to know what the child is doing in class. That's one of the things where technology has made a difference. And if their child is absent, it's great because they also know what the homework will be. Because I usually write down what the homework is, maybe different websites that the kids can use to help them with their math skills also.
That sounds great.
Yeah, they love it. The parents have all positive feedback.
Do we think it's easier for parents and teachers to get together and get involved and make a plan for students' education? This is the question that we've started off asking Ms. Roseanne DeBella, an assistant principal at Ward Melville High School.
100%, yes. The parents have a huge advantage over even just a few years ago, and the availability of information about their children in the school setting, and how they can use that to create a better environment for their children going forward educationally.
The follow-up question, what is Naviance and what does it do for parents?
Is a program for the college application process, but before that it's also a program that we chose to use for preparation for SATs and ACTs, kind of matching student strengths with appropriate colleges. It also gives an alignment with how students from Ward Melville High School have done at each of these colleges that a student might be interested in, as well as how many students have applied to that particular college from our high school, how many were accepted, how many were denied, how many were delayed admission. So it really is a comprehensive program that we use that gives the parents so much information about the program that their children are in here at Ward Melville High School, as well as how that matches with the schools that their children are looking at.
Both administration and teachers have realized that technology is the tool. Now, do parents see that tool? Have they noticed the increase in changes?
Absolutely. Especially when my 14-year-old started middle school, I found that there was Infinite Campus that I could go on as a parent and spy on him without him knowing I was spying, kind of, but just seeing what assignments were coming up, making sure he was on task, and then also seeing his grades, seeing if he would need help in certain areas. I could also contact his teachers just to see what was going on. You just go right into the portal, there's classes are right there, their names are listed, you just have to click a link, and they they get back to me much quicker than they would with snail mail or a letter or even a phone call. It's just a quick little snippet, just to keep my son on task.
Our research shows that at any grade level and at any kind of location throughout New York, that parent involvement is key, and technology has definitely done its part to help make those conversations more meaningful and easier to be had. Thank you.